What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the DC season here on Cinematic Reviews. As always, I'm your host, Chris, and this is the show about all things movies and TV. Every week, I give my thoughts on the newest releases, beloved franchises, and even upcoming projects, like the MCU and Star Wars universe. You can, of course, support the show by giving it a rating/review on your favorite podcast service. You can also follow the show on all social media platforms. Just search for Cinematic Reviews. All the handles can be found on the Facebook page. I really do appreciate all the support out there from you guys. It feels great to be back from a much-needed vacation. We're continuing our journey through the DC Extended Universe with Birds of Prey, which stars Margot Robbie returning as one Harley Quinn, Ewan McGregor, Rosie Perez, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and Jurnee Smollett. I'm super excited to dive into this film, but first, let's talk some facts. Birds of Prey was released on February 7th, 2020, and was directed by Kathy Yan. She is best known for this and Succession, which I actually just finally watched a couple weeks ago. It's an awesome HBO series that I recommend to everyone. It's such a great show. Birds of Prey grossed $205 million worldwide against an $84 million budget. According to Variety magazine, the film needed to gross between $250 and $300 million in order to break even. I really enjoyed the film a lot, and I wish I would have seen it in theaters. This is kind of a disappointing fact to read after just absolutely loving the film. I wish it would have did much better at the box office, but I don't think this is going to steer Warner Brother Discovery away from a sequel, because from what I'm reading, it still was a very huge fan favorite film. There is a popular fan theory out there that Harley actually uses bullets instead of bean bags during the police station action sequence, and that the confetti is actually blood in it. Harley is unable to deal with the guilt of the massacre, so she sees herself harming the officers instead of killing them. This is a really interesting theory, and I honestly think there's a strong possibility that it could be true. Dinah Lance, aka Black Canary, inherited her powers from her mother. This is a nod to the comics, where Black Canary remained active in the universe for so long that DC retconned there to have two Black Canaries, a mother and a daughter, both named Dinah. Harley as a roller skater is lifted straight from 2013's Harley Quinn number 1, and she is wearing the number 92 in the film, referencing the year of her debut in the Batman animated series. I grew up watching that show, and I thought she was awesome in it. It was really cool to see her pulled straight from the comics, straight from the cartoons into this film. It was really cool as a huge fan of the character. Harley only has one hyena instead of two because of budget restraints. Because of the photorealistic animation, they could only afford one hyena. The Penguin was originally intended to be the main villain of the film, but was changed to Black Mask due to his appearance in the Matt Reeves' The Batman. Nicolas Cage, Sharlto Copley, and Sam Rockwell were considered for the role of Black Mask before Ewan McGregor was cast. Those are all awesome choices, but I think Ewan was the right call, and I'll dive deeper into that later on in the episode during the segments portion. Black Mask is obsessed with heads and masks, just like in the comics. His thugs don crazy masks during the very fun Amusement Mile fight at the end of the movie. John Leguizamo, Woody Harrelson, and Matthew Fox were all considered for the role of Victor Zsasz before Chris Messina was cast. I actually think Harrelson would have been awesome as Zsasz. I'm really disappointed that he didn't get the role. Lady Gaga was offered a lead role, but she turned it down. Now, I did some digging, and reports are saying that she was offered either the role of Huntress or Black Canary. Black Canary would make the most sense due to her incredible music career. I would have loved to see her in this film as Black Canary. Have no fear, though, Lady Gaga will be making her DC debut in the Joker sequel as one Harley Quinn alongside Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. And lastly, Jurnee Smollett did all her own singing in this film, which is really, really awesome. She has a beautiful killer voice, as Harley points out in the film. Now with that, let's get to my thoughts on Birds of Prey. So as I said, this was another DC film that I unfortunately skipped at the theaters because of the bad taste left in my mouth by Justice League. I wish I would have seen this opening weekend though. Like Shazam, I had a lot of fun with Birds of Prey. Margot Robbie continues to kill it as Harley Quinn in this universe, but the rest of the cast is also really, really incredible. Ewan McGregor plays the iconic DC villain Roman Sionis, aka Black Mask. Rosie Perez brings Detective Montoya to life. The very talented Mary Elizabeth Winstead plays the badass Huntress, and Journey Smollett portrays the iconic DC character Black Canary. Instead of Barbara Gordon slash Batgirl being a part of Birds of Prey like in the comics, Cassandra Cain rounds out the team. I absolutely love the cast, and I hope a sequel gets greenlit with everyone returning, except for McGregor, of course, for obvious reasons. Margot Robbie does return as Harley in the Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn. But as for the rest of the cast, things are kind of in limbo right now due to the recent Warner Brothers Discovery merger. I'm really hoping for a sequel to this as well as a Harley and Poison Ivy solo movie. Even though Birds of Prey was a flop financially, there is a huge fan base for the film. It's a really fun movie that deserves a sequel. I want all these characters to return because they're just so good in Birds of Prey. I absolutely love them. The awesome cast, as I keep saying, is only a part of why this film is so fun. I had a blast with all the action sequences, especially that police station massacre. The choreography throughout that entire sequence was so well done. The amusement mile fight was also a lot of fun, with Harley rolling around in her skates, to Black Canary using her powers, to even Black Mask being blown up by a freaking grenade. That whole third act is really good, which has been a huge issue with these DC films if you've been following the show. Typically, the film falls apart in that third act, but not Birds of Prey. It stuck the landing, and I was really, really impressed. Everyone involved did such an awesome job with the choreography. I can tell you right now that Birds of Prey is probably going to move up in the rankings, like Shazam did. I had a blast this time around, and I'm excited to watch it again in the near future. I wasn't a huge fan of the film when I first saw it back in 2020, especially this version of Black Mask played by McGregor, but I have completely turned a 180 on it. I think McGregor was awesome as Black Mask. He was psychotic and menacing as hell. You didn't know when he was going to snap, and when he did, you better watch the fuck out. That scene where he has Zaz cut the faces off the family was so brutal. Zaz cuts the face off the little girl because Roman was simply grossed out by her snot bubble. What a fucking psycho. And him making that woman in the club stand on the table and strip was so fucked up. I think I would have preferred to see Woody Harrelson plays Zaz, but I still enjoyed the dynamic between Messina and McGregor. They definitely had some kind of relationship going on behind the scenes. Whether it was sexual or not, the film certainly hints at them having some sort of bond in that regard. And speaking of relationships, I think it was a fun choice to have Harley and the Joker break up for this film. It allowed the focus to be on Harley instead of her being shadowed again by the Joker, who is this huge DC villain who pops up every now and then. I know it was due to Warner Brothers kind of pushing Jared Leto out, but it actually worked out for the better, I think. We not only got a really good Harley Quinn movie, but also a really fun breakup movie. It's a great date night movie. When I start dating again, watching this will definitely be on the list of date ideas. And yes, we will be having bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches while we watch it. God damn, those sandwiches looked so freaking good. Let's take a break with a fun trivia game before diving into today's segments on Birds of Prey. So for any new listeners out there, this is the part of the episode where we take a quick break with a fun trivia game to, of course, add some kind of extra fun to the show. Today we're going to test our knowledge on one Harley Quinn. This is a 10-question quiz on the Cupid of crime herself. I'll give you guys time to come up with your answer, since this is not a multiple choice one, unfortunately, but I will still make it easy for you guys to follow along. With that, let's get started. So the first question is, Which show did Harley Quinn make her debut in? I'll give you a little hint. It's an animated one. So she actually made her debut in Batman, the animated series from 1992. The episode was named Joker's Favor. Next question is, when did Harley Quinn make her first appearance in the comics? Quinn made her comic book debut in the Batman Adventures number 12, which was released in 1993. This also featured Batgirl, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy. Question 3. Who was the first person to voice Harley Quinn? Another hint, this is an animated show, of course. So who was the first person? And that was Arlene Sorkin. She was the first person to voice Harley on TV. She also voiced characters on multiple occasions after that, including in another animated shows and video games, which is really, really cool that they kept her, because I remember her from the animated series growing up, and she was terrific as Harley. So I'm really, really glad that she got more work after that show ended. Question 4, what is the name of Harley Quinn's alter ego? This was stated in the movie as well as Suicide Squad, if you remember that episode. Her real name is Harleen Quinzel. She later adopted the name Harley Quinn when she started her life of crime with the Joker himself. Question 5. What was Harley Quinn's job before she became a criminal? Again, think back to Suicide Squad, because they did mention it. That was a huge part of that film. Harleen Quinzel was a psychiatrist before she became a criminal. She also worked at Arkham Asylum, where that is where she became fascinated with the Joker. Number 6. Where is Harley Quinn from? Harley is actually from Brooklyn, New York. More specifically, her family is from Bensonhurst, which is in Brooklyn. Question 7. Which filmmaker named his daughter after Harley Quinn? This might be a little tough one. It was, of course, Kevin Smith, the famous director of Clerks, Mallrats, Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, and Chasing Amy, and then most recently, Clerks 3. He's a huge Batman fan, so that doesn't really surprise me. Question 8. What color eyes does Harley Quinn have? Honestly, didn't know this one before coming across this quiz. Harley's eyes are indeed blue, just like mine, if anyone was wondering. Question 9. Who was the first actress to play Harley Quinn in live action? So this is not Margot Robbie, if anyone guessed that one. It was indeed Maya Sara. She was the first actress to play Harley in live action. This came in the 2002 television series Birds of Prey, which I have never seen, but I do know exists. So if anyone has seen that original show, let me know. I am curious to see how that one turned out. And then the last question for today. What year was Birds of Prey released? Which stars Margot Robbie? Think back to the facts segment earlier. I did mention this one. Birds of Prey was released in 2020. The film generated, like I said, $205 million worldwide. Not that it matters, but it did score a 70% rating on the tomato meter. If anyone knows me, I do not care about Rotten Tomatoes. It means nothing, but I figured I'd throw it in there just in case there were some tomato heads out there. But that was today's trivia game. Feel free to head to the Facebook page and comment how many you got right and your thoughts and concerns, negatives, what have you with Birds of Prey. I'm curious to know how you guys felt. It's half the fun with making a show like this, to know what you guys think and growing discussions from that. But let's continue on with today's episode with diving into the segments on Birds of Prey. Up first, we have standout scenes. So this is a lot shorter of a movie. I believe it was like an hour and 40. So I don't have as many scenes as I normally do, but I, I could honestly put this entire movie in this segment, but that's too easy. So I broke it down into about 6 or 7 ones that really stood out to me. So the first one I have is the opening animation. I really love the choice of having the opening of the film in animated form. It brought a fun and unique element that we haven't really seen in the DC universe yet. I also think it was a great way to set the tone of the film as well as bringing the audience up to speed with where Harley is at in her life. Joker broke up with her, which sends her down a chaotic spiral of emotions and alcohol. The next scene I have is Montoya's first crime scene. Detective Montoya, who is played by the awesome Rosie Perez, comes to her first crime scene, and it's a pretty cool scene. We're introduced to the Huntress, who is running around Gotham killing dudes. Mary Winstead is badass in the scene. I love the choreography in this entire sequence. Her crossbow is such a cool weapon, and it gets brought up periodically throughout the film, which is a really nice touch. Next, we have Zaz cutting faces off. This is a really fucked up scene. Roman Sionis, aka Black Mask, orders Victor to cut the faces off a family, and it's disturbing, to say the least. This scene really sets up Black Mask as a crazy psychopath, and I love it. At first, he was going to let the daughter go, as I mentioned earlier, but tells Zaz to cut her face off too when he notices the snot bubble coming out of her nose. What a fucking weirdo. Next, we have Harley's breakfast sandwich. This was basically a commercial for the breakfast sandwich that she talks about, and I love it. That sandwich looks so freaking good. This leads into a foot chase between Harley and everyone who has a grievance with her. It's a really fun sequence. I love all the animations throughout it, describing who the person is and what their grievance is against Harley, and does a little animated thing on their face. Unfortunately, she loses the sandwich, which is the biggest crime of this whole movie, I think. But she does get her sandwich in the end of the film, which was an awesome callback. Next, we have the police station massacre. This is probably my favorite action sequence of the entire movie. It gets broken up into 2 parts, so I'm just going to combine it all into one. Again, the choreography is perfect and so much fun. Harley running around with her fun gun and the different types of ammo was so awesome. I really love the cell block scene where the sprinkles kick in and Harley slides around kicking everyone's ass. It all ends in the evidence room, and it gets even better from there. At one point, Harley sets a guy's beard on fire, and it's so cool. I absolutely love this entire sequence. I especially love that shot of Harley walking through the pink and blue cloud with the gun at the very beginning. Just fucking awesome. Next, we have Roman making a woman strip. I mentioned it earlier, but this is a very disturbing scene. McGregor is so good in this film, especially this scene. He's menacing and creepy as fuck. This scene wouldn't have worked as well as it did if it was anybody else other than Ewan McGregor. He just nailed it as this take on Black Mask. And then lastly, we have Amusement Mile. This entire third act is really fun. I had a blast watching it from start to finish. It starts off with Zaz coming in and tranking Harley like a little bitch. But she does get out of it, and Zaz unfortunately bites the dust. Eventually, Montoya and Huntress show up at that time, giving us the Birds of Prey team finally together in the same room. Them kicking ass in Amusement Mile was so awesome. Once again, all the choreography was perfectly executed by everyone. Harley rolling around in the skates while beating the shit out of dudes was ripped right out of the comics. I love the line. I believe it was Montoya says, when the hell does she find time to do a shoe change? It's humor like that that just, this movie is so good with the humor. They did a really good job with it. It's just like Shazam did, and it seems like they learned their lesson from Aquaman. That was a disaster as far as humor was concerned. And then this scene all ends with Cassandra Cain blowing up Black Mask with a grenade, and it's fucking brutal. Parts of him just go flying into the water. Next up, favorite quotes. So a lot of these are going to be from Harley, but there are a couple of others sprinkled in. The first one I have is Harley saying, oh, hey, you're that singer that nobody listens to. And then Black Canary responds, oh, hey, you're that asshole that no one likes. I just love that little back and forth between them. They're so good in this film. Next one I have is, here's the thing, Romy, baby. Your protection is based on the fact that people are scared of you, just like they're scared of Mr. J. But I'm the one that they should be scared of. Not you, not Mr. J, because I'm Harley fucking Quinn. Margot Robbie just fucking nailing it. Did you know what a Harley Quinn is? A Harley Quinn's role is to serve. It's nothing without a master. No one gives two shits who we are beyond that. That's really, I really love this line because it's what the movie is basically centered around. You know, Harley was always overshadowed by Joker, but this movie allows her to just break away from that and become her own thing, and it's really, really awesome. Margot Robbie just nailing it, like I keep saying, again and again with this character, and this is probably my favorite movie that she's in as Harley. It's so good. This one is from Roman. He's over 1,000 years old, and now he's just an ornament in my living room. Ew, I love it. God, Ewan McGregor just fucking nailing it as his character. Another one from these last ones are just all a bunch of Harley quotes. Hey, I know that guy. If you remember, there was a poster, a wanted poster of Captain Boomerang, played by Jai Courtney, in the police station. That's where she says, hey, she points and says, I know that guy. Really cool callback to Suicide Squad. Spoiler alert, we'll see him and Harley again in the Suicide Squad coming up in a couple weeks. Some more quotes. You killed my sandwich. Like I said, that was the biggest crime in the movie, was her losing her sandwich. Right in the tit. Roman, you trust a fairy and fuckbag. That's the first time I've ever heard of that word. Both those words, actually, but really, really good. Call me dumb. I have a PhD, motherfucker. And then lastly, that slimy jizz nozzle. I can't believe he took it all. Fuck. God. Margot Robbie just fucking nailing it. Next up, Diamond in the Rough. So the entire movie is honestly a diamond in this very messy and rough universe that we call the DC Extended Universe. I really like this movie, and I'm really surprised by that. I was never a huge fan of it when I first saw it back in 2020, but now I've completely turned around on it. It's fun. The humor hits most of the time. The cast is incredible. The action is awesome. That police station sequence is definitely in the top 10, maybe even top 5 moments of the universe. It's just, I was really surprised by how much I love this movie. It's honestly right up there, top of the leaderboard for the DC movies. Next is Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, of course. Margot's take on Harley is one of my favorites in the DC universe. She was born to play this role, and I love every time she pops up. She's only been in 3 movies, believe it or not, but I hope we see her a lot more in the future. I really want a Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn movie or series. I know we have the animated Harley Quinn series, which is honestly an awesome show. I highly recommend it if you love the character. But Margot deserves another go at it in live action, in this live action part of the DC films universe. Teaming her up with Poison Ivy makes the most sense. She's broken up with Joker. She's starting a new chapter of her life. She's teamed up with the Suicide Squad a couple times. It's only right that her next adventure is with Poison Ivy. They have an awesome dynamic in the comics, as well as the Harley Quinn show that I mentioned. And I would just love to see a live action take on their relationship. I really, really want it. I think it would do very, very well at the box office and in fans' views. It's something that the fan base deserves, is a movie like that. Next, Ewan McGregor's Black Mask. I have a lot more respect for Ewan's take on Black Mask this time around. I've always been a huge fan of the character ever since he showed up in the Arkham Origins video game. If you remember those series, that's a really fun video game. Go check those out. I think the reason why I wasn't a fan of Ewan when I first saw the movie was because at the time I wanted Black Mask to be more of a serious character. Now I really enjoyed this wacky, psychotic take in Birds of Prey. Ewan did such an awesome job. And it's a shame that he won't be popping up again because he got fucking blown up. But kudos to you, Ewan. You absolutely nailed it. Welcome to the DC universe. Then lastly, it's the humor. Like Shazam, the humor hit for me, and I hope Warner Brothers Discovery learns leans more, learns from Aquaman, of course, but then leans into this kind of humor, like with Shazam. Birds of Prey needed to be rated R in order to be this fun. Shazam didn't necessarily need to be rated R, and I'm honestly kind of glad it wasn't rated R. This one, though, I'm glad it was. I know slapping an R rating on a movie cuts into profits because, well, not everyone is going to let their kids see this. But I think giving a character like Harley Quinn the freedom of an R rating is the best choice in the long run. I mean, Aquaman, like I keep saying, failed at its humor. Mostly that was because of the writing. And Birds of Prey definitely learned from that. But I think the R rating, and we'll see this in James Gunn's Suicide Squad, because I believe that one was rated R as well. There's just a different realm of freedom when it comes to R-rated movies. I mean, take Deadpool, for example. Not to cross universes, but Deadpool was like the top rated R movie ever. And that was such a smart choice. And from what I'm hearing, Deadpool 3 will be rated R, even though it's Disney now. But yeah, the R rating really helped this movie. And I'm really, really glad. And I hope Disney, Warner Brothers Discovery, throws more R-rated movies out. I mean, technically, Zack Snyder's Justice League was rated R, even though it didn't lead into this part of rated R. I mean, they have Batman Say Fuck, which I guess institutes an R rating. But I mean, Harley Quinn, Joker, the Suicide Squad, I mean, those kind of characters in the universe needs to have an R rating. Otherwise, they won't reach their full potential like Deadpool did. Not to, again, cross universes. But with that, let's jump over to negatives. So the only real negative I have is the Cassandra Cain character. I still wasn't a huge fan of her this time around. It's nothing against the actress who played her. I think Ella J. Basco did an awesome job with Cassandra. I just didn't have as much fun with her as I did the rest of the cast. She was pretty much there to just push the plot along. I would have liked to see Barbara Gordon in this movie instead of Cassandra Cain. I mean, Barbara, aka Batgirl, is one of the original members of Birds of Prey, so it would make a lot of sense to have her in a Birds of Prey movie. I know they had a solo Batgirl movie planned at the time of filming Birds of Prey, so I'm guessing that's why they didn't include her. But with the success of this movie and Warner Brothers Discovery canceling the Batgirl movie, I think it's time for Batgirl to show up in a Birds of Prey sequel. Her teaming up with Harley would be freaking awesome. Maybe throw in a little Poison Ivy. Really, really awesome idea. And just keep that in mind, Warner Bros. Discovery. You're on the right track with Harley Quinn. Let's just ramp things up with Harley. Throw in some Batgirl. Throw in some Poison Ivy. And we can save this universe. And then another negative I wanted to mention. It's not a huge gripe for me. I just wanted to bring it up. I really like the idea of Woody Harrelson as Victor Zsasz. Mencia did a great job in the film. I really like the idea of Woody in this role. His dynamic with Ewan's Black Mask would have been a lot more fun. That was a huge missed opportunity, I think, in my mind. Is Harrelson would have been just perfect as Victor Zsasz. But we got Chris Mencia, which was still awesome. I love his little back and forths with Ewan. Their little bromance relationship was fun, and you could tell that they had some kind of relationship behind the scenes, which comes down to the writing, but it also comes down to the actor. I just think Woody Harrelson could have taken it up another notch with the character as far as being a little more psycho, a little more crazy, a little more out there. I really love the idea of Woody being in this role. I do hope in the future that Harrelson does get a chance to join Marvel or DC or something. It seems like everybody is jumping on the superhero movie train. So it wouldn't surprise me if he eventually did. I think this was really a missed chance for him to play an awesome character in a somewhat messy, destructive universe right now. So to end the episode, let's talk rankings. As a refresher, here is the current DC Extended Universe ranking list. At number 1, Zack Snyder's Justice League. 2, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Ultimate Edition. Man of Steel at number 3, followed by Shazam, Wonder Woman, The Suicide Squad. Birds of Prey at number 7. Aquaman at 8. Suicide Squad at 9. And rounding out the list at number 10 is Wonder Woman 1984. So I mentioned it before, but I can already tell you that Birds of Prey is going to be moving up. How many spots? That I'm not sure. This list is tough because I had a blast with this film, way more than I thought I would, because I remember not being so high on it. That's why it's sitting at number 7. It's definitely going to move above the Suicide Squad. So it's right there at number 6. Now, we still have 2 weeks until the rewatch of Suicide Squad, but I already know that I'm going to not like it as much as Birds of Prey. Now, does Birds of Prey keep moving up? The third act in Wonder Woman was a letdown for me, and that's what really holds that film back for me. I really, really liked the final fight at Amusement Mile in Birds of Prey, but I also really like the dynamic between Diana and Steve. Ewan's Black Mask is a better villain than Ares or Thad in Shazam. He was menacing and psychotic. Overall, I had more fun with Shazam because of the dynamic between Freddy and Billy / Shazam. I think I'm going to put Birds of Prey below Shazam, but above Wonder Woman. I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and all the action sequences in her first solo film were cool. I just think I had more fun with Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and the action sequences were incredible, especially that police station massacre that you keep bringing up. Choreography, just perfect. So yeah, Birds of Prey, new number 5. So the new top 5 of the DC Extended Universe is Zack Snyder's Justice League at number 1, followed by Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, Shazam, and Birds of Prey as the new number 5. You can check this list out and many more on both IMDb and Letterboxd. Just search for Cinematic Reviews. There are about 60 or so lists on there, from Lord of the Rings to Marvel to even the live-action Disney films. Feel free to check all those out and post your rankings on any of the Cinematic Reviews social media pages. I would love to see how you guys ranked these beloved franchises. Well, that'll do it for this installment of the DC season. Join me next Friday for Wonder Woman 1984, which sees Gal Gadot and Chris Pine returning as the beloved Diana and Steve, along with Pedro Pascal and Kristen Wiig. Also tune in every week for New Release Monday. This coming Monday, I'll be reacting to the newest Apple Plus film, The Greatest Beer Run Ever, which stars Zac Efron and Russell Crowe. Later, everyone.